Welcome back to RunYogi Diaries. This is Santosh Kumar, your host. We have a powerful human being in the show today. She's a cancer survivor. Actually, she's a cancer vanquisher because she survived cancer and went on to do 20 plus half marathons. And then she decided to make it a lifestyle as well as provide coaching. She's making a huge difference to all other people. Welcome to the show, Sukanya Sridhar. Welcome to the show, Sukanya.
Thank you for having me, Santosh. Honored.
Absolutely. I couldn't have thought of anyone better. And
Aw.
as I was telling you,
Mm.
I was thinking that there are too many guys I've had in the show, and I need to have a powerful woman in the show. And I can't think of anyone else. The first name that came to mind is Sukanya. So thank you
I'm
for.
very honored you thought of me. Really, I'm looking forward, and this is something amazing you're doing. And I watched all your videos, very inspirational, and I learned so much from all of them. So I hope I can deliver a little bit that we can take away from this. So yeah.
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
So, to first things first, let you, introduce yourself to the audience and we'll go from there.
Sure. So yeah, my name is Sukanya, and I live here in Florida, Gainesville, Florida. I'm married to a doctor, Sridhar, and he treats kids with brain tumors here at UF, University of Florida, here in Gainesville. And I have two amazing boys. They are young adults. One is 27. You want to call him an adult, and the younger one is Sanjeev, and he's working. He got a new job out of New York, but he's home working. Uh, so um, so yeah, so I'm I read a lot of books. I love working out. That's my meditation, my passion. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure. And for the past 2 years, I've been a non-certified health coach. So we'll talk more about that, I'm sure. So that's again my passion now, to promote health and being fit and doing the right thing. And I have all kind of hobbies. Like I said, I read a lot of books these days with quarantine, and I ride a motorcycle, and I'm very proud of that. I brag about that. And I'm an artist, so I do some artwork. So any kind of art, I get my hands on it. And I love to travel, like most of us do. So yeah, so that's a little about me there.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have, if you had obviously, you are in a great journey, not you had a great journey. You are in the process of a great journey. You have a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests, and that's
Thank you.
fascinating.
Thank
It's an example of living life fully.
you. Thank
And
you.
so
Yes.
thank you for setting that as an example and inspiring us. So let's start the beginning. How
Yeah.
did it? What triggered you to start this fitness journey to begin with?
Yes. Um, so um, I grew up in India, so South India. So I had a lot of grew up eating yogurt rice and hard rice, the typical sambar rice in the for breakfast, and that's what we would eat before we went to college and work. Um, so that is my staple food, and I idli, dosa, everything is based with rice. Chapati was a chore for mom to make, so we never had delicacy. It was a delicacy. Mommy had to plan to make a chapati, so that's all I knew to eat. And so I was filled when I ate that, and that was my comfort food. So then I got married 1990, and then we left India. And of course, my husband also comes from South India, and his family also, we had the same eating pattern and stuff. So came to this country, had babies, wanted to be a good mom, and I would eat the leftovers. Didn't want to throw the leftovers from the fridge, like all mothers do. In particular, mothers do that, and so that's how our lives was. And until I was never happy. I was never happy with the way my body looked. I was never happy with the way when I wore my clothes. I started with a small when I came to this country, and as the days were going by and with the babies, my size went up. And I remember wearing a large size top to be myself comfortable, and that was my awe moment to say I have to do something about this. But I didn't know how. I didn't know how to do about it. In India, we walked a lot. We all grew up in India. We could go to the bus stop, and we go hang out with friends. But it was never like going to the gym or lifting that weight. Was not something that was part of our life. And a lady would never do that. Like we grew up looking at our moms who would do a lot of work around the house, but they never went to the gym. They never took time for themselves to do anything. So I was kind of lost, but I knew I had to do something about it. And then my kids, of course, as a mom, I didn't want to leave my kids home alone. I had to make sure that they are safe and they got their food. And so my routine was around the family, my husband. But my husband could come from work and he would go to the gym because he could drop everything and go to the gym and do what he had to do. But I couldn't do that. So then my very good friend from South Florida, Jay Shri, so she called me once, and out of the blue, she signed up for a half marathon in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm like, she's in a good competition sense. I said, oh, she is going to do it. And how about I have to do something about this? And then at the same time, a neighbor friend of mine, Lata, so she also was starting to run with her husband who joined the Galloway running group. And so he was running with that group. And so Lata said, oh, I'm going to go and run with him. So of course, ego acts up. And then I'm like, okay, I really got to do something. And because all my friends around me are doing something. And that was my first step to do it. And I didn't know how to start it. And so I started Googling to see what is the basic thing I need to do a good run. And I found out for a woman, two things. One is a perfect sports bra and a shoe. So when I learned that I needed to get that, and of course I didn't want to buy a very expensive one, and it's going to sit in my closet. So, but then my husband, said, go invest in a good one. So at least that will make me feel guilty if I don't wear it, and if I don't take the first step. So that was my first step. So I literally went and bought a good one, and then now I have to wear it and go. And so when I started, that's how I started running. So I did a point. I remember doing 1 mile, and I was out of breath. I just could not keep up with it, and I was not my fit self. And I came home after that point one, and I sat home and I was breathing hard for like 10 minutes because my heart was. I thought I'm gonna explode. But I kept at it. The next day again, I wore it and I increased the point one a little bit. And so to make the story short, in like 2-3 months, I could do 3 miles. And but did I do continuously? No. I even now I don't run continuously. I do a 1 mile and then I walk like few steps. But before I used to have a timer, and I would do 3 minutes run and walk for 1 minute. That slowly increased to 5 minutes run and walk for 1 minute. And that's a Galloway method of running too, and that's how they teach you. So then my friend and I started running together. We used to do 3 times a week, but we didn't want to depend on each other because I didn't want her to pull me down, and I didn't want her to be pulled down if I can't make it. So we started running by ourselves, and during the weekends we would run together. So slowly then we said, okay, this looks like we can do it, and let's try a first 5K. So we went and did a 5K in Chapel. And we loved the spirit, and I enjoyed my run. There was no pressure. There was no like I know that I'll never be the first one, or I will never win that prize. But I wore my shoe and I was running, and the spirit, everybody is there for the same reason. And when I saw people going slower than me, that gave me that, oh, I'm doing better than that person in a good way. But as athletes, as runners, we root for every every single person who's doing whatever they can. But at that point, my brain was like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. And I did that in, I want to say like 34 minutes, my first 5K. Then I got the spirit into doing the half marathon. So we said, okay, let's try a half marathon. And then we went and joined the Galloway running group, where everybody comes with the same spirit from different groups. We all run at different pace. We talk nothing but run and how we can improve the run. And that kind of gave me the confidence that I can do the half marathon. And just before that, I know we'll talk about it, I got diagnosed with cancer. So I could not do my first half that I was supposed to do in Nashville in 2008 because of my cancer. But I did do my first one in November of 2008 after my treatment and after I went through chemo and radiation. And that was my very proud moment that I could do it. And ever since, so after I did my first half marathon, of course, with the short hair and, you know, the person who went through cancer running, you know, that gave me a spirit to say, this is something I could do for myself, and I could do that, not pressurizing anybody. This was my moment. I could do what I wanted to do, and I have kept on going. So my proud moment with the cancer part is I ran through my chemo and my radiation because I had just started running, and I know I was training for that half marathon, which I never went in April in 2008, and I got diagnosed April 3rd, April 4th, and I had to go through 4 chemo and 15 radiation. But I would have a chemo on a Monday, and I would start running on a Thursday. My pace was slow. It wasn't, you know, I was not, that was going to be my first marathon, half marathon anyway. So I had no idea what pace I'm supposed to do and how to improve myself. So, but I still wore my shoes and I could run. Maybe I want to say I did a, you know, when I was training, I would do a 12-minute, you know, a mile pace, but I still did that. So radiation, every day I had the radiation. So I would get up in the morning, go do my run, and then go for radiation. So what that kind of made me feel was I could not control my disease, but I could control my run. And I talked to the doctors, sports medicine guy. I went and had an appointment with him, and I said, I just have this passion for running, and I was not sure if I can run and expose myself out there. And he encouraged me to say, listen to your body. If your body says you're okay, you get up in the morning and you feel you can do this, go for it. So if you wear a mask, if you need to, I'm very particular about that. And that helped me a lot. So but I did not wear a mask, but I was bald head and I wore my cap and nothing stopped me. And I did my mile or a 4 mile or a 6 mile, depending on the day. And I would go and have my radiation and come back. So that control I had over my run, because I set my pace, I set my miles, and I could do that. I truly believe to this day that I beat the cancer because of me moving, because of me running. And then I eventually learned that you don't run and you don't try to be fit and you don't try to be healthy for losing weight. Losing weight happens, but you do this. So we do not know what is in store tomorrow, but if I can do this and take control of my body and my mind, I feel that I can beat anything that comes across in my life, including cancer. And of course, everybody reacts differently. So everybody needs to go process it, what works for them. So that was, and then ever since,
So,
I'm not able, yeah.
so one question I have. So when you heard about your cancer, what was it like for you?
So,
First time when you heard it?
sure. So, yeah, I'm married to a cancer doctor. He treats kids with brain tumors. And I am a very bubbly girl, if I can say that about myself. So, and then boom, I worked in the school system. And first I thought it was in my neck. It was a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 1. I was lucky to have stage 1. So it came in my neck, and I thought I was, first I thought it was a strep throat, because usually strep throat starts with the neck. And then I went and I saw, of course, my husband gave me 2 sets of antibiotic and it didn't respond. He said, go to your own doctor. And the first time the doctor wrote saying, do not rule out non-Hodgkin, and do not rule out lymphoma, when she referred me to a ENT doctor to go and check on my throat. It was scary. And I've heard, I know of stories my husband brings home. I know of, what his kids go through, what the family goes through. And so I know of, a, but it became personal when it happened to me, including my husband. Because I remember when I heard the news, I called him and I said, the doctor saying that it's non-Hodgkin. She had just written in a paper just so that they make sure that they don't rule that out. He's like, even he was in denial, even though he knows, he was in denial. And then I had to go and get tested, and then it became positive, and then I had to do the surgery. And then when they said it is non-Hodgkin's lymphoma for sure, it was devastating because I didn't know where my life was going to go. Kids were young. It was devastating. I would cry even if I see people with long hair. It would upset me. That was a very low point in everybody's life because you do not know what is in store. Even though I had an amazing, I have great support with my husband being home. There were things he could pick up that I didn't know. And he made decisions for me that, I trust him and I let him make decisions for me. And kids were young and it was hard to explain to them. So it was not an easy ride. After the initial thing, and it took me like, I want to say, even after I went into remission and the doctor said it was an easy thing that I got, that after all that treatment I went, it took me 2 years to calm down. So it was a hard ride.
Yeah, no, it is, I can't even imagine. And most of us who are probably listening to it can't imagine that what you may have gone through in that moment. So where do you draw courage from? How did you develop that courage?
I think when you are dropped in the sea, you learn how to swim. That's the way, that's the attitude. I mean, it happens. I mean, for me it was cancer. For other people it could be anything else, and there are so many diseases out there and so many things happen in our lives. So the courage, I have 2 kids, so I had to be brave, and I wanted them to take something from mom, to say mom had a good battle, mom had a good fight, she's a brave woman. So that was one of, every time I looked at my kids faces, I would not show my emotions to them. My parents at that time, my dad was also alive. So when you don't want them to be depressed and cry along with you. The family comes first. I mean, my husband, I knew I'm in good hand. I know he's not going to let me go anywhere, and I know that he's going to take good care of me. And then things happen, and I don't know what is in store. So, and also the workout, the exercise gave me the courage to say, okay, I'm in the right path. And I would go to radiation and people would come and tell me, I like to talk, and I will talk about my running before my radiation, and people would encourage me and say, you're doing the right thing, you do this. And friends, amazing friends, they would run with me in my pace. There was always my friend Lata available to run with me. So I'm truly blessed to have so many people around me that pull me through these hard times. And here I am to talk about it to you after 12 years now. Yeah.
Great. What I hear in your story is no matter what happens, it's your ability to draw the positive energy that's around you and empower yourself, right? And do what is required to keep moving forward. And then you did 20 half marathons, and
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, for folks who are listening, that's really extraordinary.
Thank you.
To having dealt with the breakdown, conquered. That's why I use the word not survived, but you vanquished.
Yeah, thank you. Cancer, that's a nice word. I like it. Yeah, thank you.
Vanquished. So you are a cancer vanquisher, not a survivor. So
I like it. Yeah. So I mean, once the first half marathon happened, and it was a slow. I had a number. I said, okay, this is my number. This is my pace. How can I get it better? So every time after that, I ran. I said I need to beat that first time. The second half marathon, I said I need to beat that time. Even runners know, even if you can beat it by like a minute, it's a big deal. Yes, my leg hurt, my knee hurt. I have runner's toes. All my toes are black, and I go to the pedicure all the time to fix that. My nails are broken in my feet. But those are some small things that happens in my brain for the accomplishment that I'm able to do that. And it doesn't, it's a training, it's getting up and moving every single day, and eating healthy, focusing on that goal. And so then, the runner's high, I remember you talking about runner's high last time. So the runner's high is amazing. It's priceless. So you finish one, I want to do another one just for the spirit of it. Some runs suck. I mean, I have never gone to the first run timing. I've always gone below, and my best is 2:20. But it's okay. I mean, I would like to be below 2 hours. I hopefully will do it one day, but I'm happy to wear the shoes and do whatever I can, and get that medal around my neck and come back. So yeah, and I do crazy stuff, like there is a Divas marathon, half marathon in where is this now? In Myrtle Beach, where the firefighters come and give you the medal. Shirtless firefighters come and give you the medal. They give you champagne and tutu. So there are fun stuff right there that I look for, and I have fun. And I see men running in tutus. Breast cancer is a big thing. They wear false breasts and men run, and it's amazing. The spirit is just amazing. So I wish more people will get there.
Absolutely. And how do you motivate yourself on a day? There are days that you don't want to wake up, or you don't want to go out, wear your shoes. It's too snuggy. How do you motivate yourself?
Well, that doesn't take much for me, because you don't want to be around me if I don't work out. So if it is raining, I still run. The rain should not stop anybody. It's actually fun to run. I remember once in North Carolina, where we used to live, we ran in a parking lot of a mall first thing in the morning, because the mall is empty. There are no cars. So we actually did 6 miles in the parking garage, going from one floor to the other. And I want to say that was the most amazing experience. We didn't want lightning. There was thunder, but we were worried about the lightning. And we paddled through the water, and it was amazing, the spirit. And so nothing should be an excuse when you get there. For me, if I don't work out, I am a very miserable person. I need to move. I need to do something, even go for a walk. I need to do that. So that motivation comes because I don't want to be a nasty person around the people I live with. So that is where my motivation comes from, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar. My wife will make sure that I go get my run, because she does not want to deal with grumpy me.
Exactly. So it just become a ripple effect, and then it's like I mean, my husband has seen me with bad moons, and he's like, "You didn't work out today. Go do whatever." So so that's it got me a while to get there, but I'm happy I'm there. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great. Sukanya, what we'll do is we'll take a couple of minutes break, and we'll come back to the part 2 of our conversation. And we're going to talk about your breakthrough in the area of weight loss, nutritional strategies and philosophies that you've developed through experience, and your fitness coaching practice as well. So hang in there, folks.